They said the American dream was the greatest dream of all. But what if that dream was never meant to stay in one country? What if the true frontier was the human spirit itself? For a long time, people believed that America was the only place where impossible dreams could come true. It was the land of opportunity, the home of rebels, inventors, and dreamers who changed the world from their garages. And for a while, that was true. That fearless spirit built everything from Silicon Valley to SpaceX, fueled not by comfort, but by courage. It was the fire of creation, the audacity to take risks no one else would take. But somewhere along the way, something changed. The same energy that once built rockets and revolutions began to fade. It was replaced by fear, by comfort, by a culture more interested in avoiding mistakes than chasing greatness. People stopped asking, "What if we succeed?" and started asking, "What if we fail? What if someone gets offended? What if it's too risky?" Those questions, they kill innovation before it even begins. When I first came to America, I saw it as the frontier of imagination. A place where you could fail spectacularly and still be respected for trying. But over time, I watched that frontier shrink. Bureaucracy grew. People became obsessed with following rules instead of breaking limits. The rebel spirit that built the future started getting punished instead of celebrated. Don't misunderstand me, America is still full of brilliant minds and endless potential. But the system that once empowered dreamers has slowly turned into one that resists them. You can see it everywhere, in the regulations that choke new ideas, in endless approvals that delay progress, and in the way public conversation has become more about outrage than innovation. Creativity needs oxygen. And right now, much of that oxygen is being consumed by noise. When I built SpaceX, everyone said it was impossible. They said rockets should be left to governments, too risky, too expensive, too complicated. If I had listened, there would be no reusable rockets, no Falcon 9, no progress. The reason SpaceX succeeded wasn't just technology, it was culture. The freedom to try, to fail, to learn fast. But that freedom, that oxygen, is fading. And I started to realize something deeper. When a society becomes too comfortable, it stops evolving. Comfort creates a false sense of security. People start protecting what they have, instead of building what they could become. And when a culture rewards compliance over creativity, it stops growing. That was the moment I understood, the American dream had changed. It became less about building the future and more about maintaining a lifestyle. People started measuring success by comfort, not contribution. But comfort doesn't build rockets. Comfort doesn't cure diseases. Comfort doesn't move humanity forward. Curiosity does. Courage does. The willingness to be misunderstood does. Yet even as that spirit faded in one place, I began to see it ignite everywhere else. In small labs in Asia. In startups in Africa. In passionate communities in Europe. The flame of innovation had gone global. Maybe that's how it was always meant to be. Maybe progress was never supposed to belong to one country, but to all of humanity. Leaving America wasn't rejection. It was realization. That progress doesn't belong to a flag. It belongs to a mindset. The principles that built Tesla and SpaceX, audacity, resilience, obsession with the future, can thrive anywhere. Because the frontier isn't a place. It's a way of thinking. People often think innovation should have borders. That success must come from one nation, one company, one vision. But the truth is, the problems we face, climate change, energy, artificial intelligence, life beyond Earth, they don't care about borders. And if our challenges are global, then our solutions must be too. Innovation without borders, that's the future. Because the next great leap won't come from competition, but collaboration. Not from nations fighting for dominance, but from humanity fighting for survival. When I work with engineers in India, scientists in Germany, or coders in Kenya, I see the same hunger, the same spark that once defined Silicon Valley. Genius isn't localized. It's distributed. The only difference between a brilliant mind in California and one in Lagos is opportunity. And if we can break down the walls that separate talent from possibility, if we can share knowledge, technology, and resources freely, then the next great breakthrough won't belong to one country. It'll belong to all of us. That's why I say I didn't leave America. I expanded beyond it. To see the world not as a map of borders, but as a canvas of potential. Because progress isn't about geography. It's about consciousness. Now, let me tell you something personal. People think success brings peace, that once you make it, the challenges fade. But the higher you climb, the stronger the resistance becomes. Not just from the world, but from within yourself. Every visionary faces moments of doubt, isolation, and judgment. When you challenge convention, you invite criticism. And sometimes, that noise becomes unbearable. I've learned that innovation doesn't just test your intelligence, it tests your endurance. Your ability to keep going when the world doubts you. To stay true to your purpose when everything around you tries to pull you off course. That's why I started seeking silence. Not to escape, but to rebuild. To protect the mental space where real creation happens. Because creativity needs freedom. And freedom needs focus. Every great builder faces a storm. A moment when you must choose between being understood and being true to your mission. That's the cost of vision. It demands sacrifice, loneliness, and faith in what only you can see. But if you can stand in that storm, if you can carry your conviction when no one else will, then you become the kind of person who changes the world. The world doesn't push back against mediocrity. It pushes back against change. And that pressure you feel, that's proof you're moving in the right direction. Leaving America wasn't about leaving a place. It was about finding perspective. About realizing that the future won't be built by those who cling to comfort, but by those who embrace uncertainty. Progress isn't a destination. It's a journey of courage, imagination, and unity. So if you take anything from this, let it be this. The real frontier isn't out there. It's in here. In the minds brave enough to believe in what's possible. Because the moment we stop dreaming, the moment we start protecting instead of creating, that's when we truly lose the dream. But as long as there are builders willing to risk everything, the future will never stop expanding. The next great revolution won't be national. It'll be human. And it begins with you.